Hi. Wow, what a day, huh? Um, I am I wanted to go live because this is a big day. Today is a really big day. I am really glad that Joe Biden made the announcement today. The waiting was really getting to me. Although, I guess we all kind of knew they would most likely be Kamala Harris. But it's good to just have our ticket. She wasn't my top choice, but she's definitely somebody I really admire, I respect. As some of you know, my my heroes, Elizabeth Warren, and I guess I still was holding out some hope that Warren might get chosen as the running mate. But I am really appreciating the enthusiasm that I'm seeing. Of course, there are also lots of disappointed people, but I'm also seeing incredible enthusiasm. And that makes me feel actually so much better about everything because, as you know, enthusiasm was a weakness so far when the Biden campaign. There was not a lot of enthusiasm for Joe Biden. Um, there's a lot of enthusiasm for beating Trump, but Joe Biden as a candidate was lacking enthusiasm. So she, I think, will bring in a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm, and I'm so thrilled about it. And I don't know, maybe it's the best possible choice for just that reason alone, because I don't know if anyone else could have generated as much enthusiasm as I am seeing. And I think it's partly because not only is she Black, but she's also part Asian American. Um, and as an Asian American, I have to say it does mean something to me. Now, I also have been really coming around to Joe Biden as a candidate, partly because I did struggle with how the primary evolved because again, I really thought Warren was by far the best choice. But now that I am seeing his strength, I'm really seeing the strength of Joe Biden as a candidate. And I think this is what it comes down to. I think that as much as Trump has been trying to attack him and smear him, and as much as he's endured criticism and the gaffes, fundamentally, I mean, he's kind of a Teflon Joe himself in that none of these things are really sticking. And I think it's because he has been a public figure for many years, and people feel like they do know him and they're familiar with him, and fundamentally, they trust him. They think he's a decent person, that he's not arrogant, and that he will actually listen. And again, I think that is a bit of a contrast maybe with the Hillary campaign in 2016, because I think there was a sense that Hillary wasn't necessarily interested in, listening to other people. There was a bit of kind of guardedness or maybe arrogance. So I think there was kind of resistance from a lot of people based on just that personality. But with Joe Biden, I do feel like he is somebody who will listen and who would respond to kind of organized pressure from the left. And I do consider myself kind of on the far left, and would love to see a more progressive platform, more progressive policies from Democratic Party. I do kind of bristle at the idea that this campaign might be all about just kind of going back to status quo. Of course, status quo would be better than what we have at the moment, because what we have is a catastrophe. But the idea that we could have a much more progressive future is something that I'm gonna hold on to. As FDR said to people who did criticize him from the left, he said, like, make me do it. And so it's our job to figure out how to make him do it, make Joe Biden more progressive, um, and have him respond to organized pressure from the left. And I feel like that's totally feasible. And, for people who are still resistant to Joe Biden and now Kamala Harris because they think they're just not going to be progressive enough, I just want to say that our heroes, people like Bernie Sanders, AOC, Ro Khanna, Elizabeth Warren, like all those people have experience with working with Joe Biden. And I think that they're going to be able to really take strong leadership under a Biden administration. And also, we've learned some things from the Obama years. We've learned that it is extremely important for the left, the progressives, to be organized and to turn out to vote and to keep continuing to put pressure on our representatives and not kind of pick a hero, pick a savior, and just kind of sit back and let him do his thing. I feel more or less that's kind of what I did during the Obama years. I felt like I wanted to believe that Obama had it and that we just had to kind of leave him alone. And he was smart enough and really progressive enough to like get the job done. But we didn't really turn out the vote in the midterm elections, and we just did not organize hard enough to put pressure on Obama to do some of the things that we really needed him to do on issues like immigration and healthcare. And so I feel like we can bring all of that to the Biden administration if he wins. And I think that is still a big conditional. It's like we don't know if he's going to win. And I wish that people would stop looking at polls and then kind of repeating the mistakes we made in 2016, thinking, oh my gosh, we're winning and we're ahead. He's got this, he's going to win. I mean, first of all, it's going to be a very, very difficult year to just go vote because of COVID and because of years of organized voter suppression. It's going to be difficult for people to vote. Okay, so I hope people kind of understand that we cannot assume that Joe Biden's going to win, and we've got to really figure out how we can make sure that our friends and friends of friends and everyone we know figure out how to vote. Okay, because there's going to be a lot of disinformation, there's going to be voter suppression, and Trump is going to do everything that he can do to cheat and to create barriers. And Russia is going to do everything it can do. I mean, there are all sorts of interested players that will do everything they can to try to make this election fundamentally very chaotic, and also just, in my opinion, it's just going to be a difficult journey from here until inauguration day. I don't know that. I hope that's not the case, that we know soon after November 3rd who won the election and it's not contested, and we're going to be able to celebrate the victory soon after November 3rd. But as we know, based on everything that we know about Trump, he's going to find ways to challenge the election if he doesn't win. And it may drag out in terms of, long days, counting the ballot, recounting the ballot, going through lawsuits, going through maybe having intervention from the Supreme Court, and then maybe electoral college and then Congress. There's just going to be, I think, a lot of steps in between now, November 3rd, and inauguration day. Hopefully we are going to unequivocally on inauguration day. So this means a couple of things. One is, first, we're figuring out how we're going to win this election. Okay, and then the second thing is figuring out how we can stay healthy, okay, because we're going to need to stay healthy in order to vote and to be organized. And that's going to be a big challenge with 5 million cases of COVID. I mean, it's unimaginable, like what could be happening in the coming weeks. So we got to figure out how to stay healthy. And we also have to figure how to be like mentally, spiritually resilient, because the election's not going to end so quickly and easily. So, and there's going to be lots of twists and turns. And I think we have to learn how to hang tight, hang on, and stay calm and stay engaged through this whole process. And so that means a couple of things for me. I've been trying to figure this out. Normally in any election year, any other election year, I would be working on trying to recruit volunteers to go door knocking in targeted campaigns in battleground states. But we can't do that this year because most campaigns are probably not going to be able to door knock, and it's just not going to be safe. And I wouldn't feel good about asking anyone to door knock. So let's not even go there right now. So I'm not going to be recruiting people to go door knocking. I think it's a tough sell to try to get people to do phone banking and texting continuously between now and November 3rd. I think volunteer your heart out for the campaigns that you believe in and for Joe Biden's campaign. But I feel there's something else that's needed. And so I want to kind of pitch this to you guys. And I've been sort of trying to figure this out with some friends. And you can find out what we're doing on countmeintowin.org. So you can go now to the website, countmeintowin.org. And so what we're trying to do is figure out right now how we can leverage our networks, our personal relationships to get out the vote. And I don't mean just like posting and tweeting, posting on Facebook and tweeting all the time. It's not, I feel like we need to do something a little bit more organized than just constantly posting about the election. I think we need to, this is what I'm asking. Okay, tell me what you guys think. I would like to ask all of you to make a list of 100 people in your network who is actually a voter or is eligible to vote, because they might not be registered to vote or they might not have ever voted before. And figure out, make a list and figure out what, first of all, where they live. And of course, it would be better if you picked people first in battleground states, like find out if you have friends in battleground states. And on Facebook, it's actually very easy to do, because on your search bar, you can type in friends in Pennsylvania, friends in North Carolina, and it actually creates a list of people in those places. And so make a list of 100 people. And I know that sounds like a lot, but it really isn't if you think about it, because most of you have more than 100 friends on Facebook. I personally have 5,000 people on my Facebook, and a lot of you have thousands of friends. So I think you can probably come out with a list of 100. But you can start out with 10. You can start with 10 people that you can contact. And what I want you to do is work with them to figure out what their voting plan should be. So help them figure out all the deadlines that they need to know. Voter registration deadline, okay, mail-in ballot deadline, early voting. When does early voting start? I mean, just help them figure out how they're going to vote, like actually help create a plan with them Are they going to vote mail-in ballot? You know, are they going to drop it somewhere? Are they going to mail it in? And when do they want to mail it in? Like really get specific, like get dates, okay? And so work with your friends, the people on your list, to help create a plan. And you can be a tremendous resource by giving them the information that they might need and just kind of talking them through it. And you can get information on all the states by going to vote.org. And I'm going to drop all the links for you on the website, on this thread. Okay, so basically, we're going to kind of get our volunteers to really engage just at a level where it's almost like you become experts on things like election laws, on things like how to spot disinformation, you know, how to counter disinformation, because you know there's going to be so much disinformation. Okay, so we're gonna teach our volunteers to become really brilliant at spotting disinformation and countering it, and we can work together like to create like the tools and the resources to make it easy to do. So you're gonna become experts on election laws. You're gonna become experts on how to spot disinformation and counter it. You're also gonna learn how to talk to voters and talk to them not just by, you know, just talking them through the process, which, you know, I think won't be that hard to do, like, you know, reaching out to people in your network and saying, can we create a plan on how we're going to vote together? I also think it's important to learn how to talk to people who disagree with us. I think it's important for us to kind of acquire some skills to engage constructively online, because this is why I think that's important, because as you know, it can be really exhausting, demoralizing, alienating, depressing to be online and see threads just go completely out of control, or to have people make really challenging or aggressive comments, hostile comments on your thread, right? And that what happens is then you feel tired and just shut down, and then you get depressed and discouraged about how to do this. I mean, how are we going to do this? And I think that all that is something that's going to help Trump. Trump and his campaign, his enablers, his allies want us feeling polarized, exhausted, demoralized, hopeless, and we can't afford that. So I actually have spent a lot of time engaging in difficult conversations with people who disagree with me, i.e., like really conservative people in the South. I spent a lot of time talking to them, and initially when I talked to them, it would just trigger me, things that they would say. But after a while, after many conversations, like I stopped getting triggered, and I learned to like engage them. And I just want to I don't want to go into a lot of details because we're going to do a whole full-on training about this. But one trick that I've learned is, instead of trying to convince people on the spot to change their mind, if you're like, okay, I got to get this person to like agree not to vote for Trump, like right now, or else somehow there's something wrong with them or I failed. Okay, so like we got to like calibrate that, adjust that expectation. The way I approach it is I focus on just connecting with them as a human being. So I'm not sitting there going, okay, how do I win this argument? How do I get them to not vote for Trump? How do I get them to whatever? So I focus on just making a connection and seeing if we could have an ongoing dialogue. Because what I have found is that it's very hard to change people's minds like on the spot. But if you can develop some connection, first of all, and if they feel heard and respected, first of all, you're planting a seed in their minds. And believe me, that can really grow into something powerful over time. And two, they're more likely to say weeks, days, months, years down the road later, come back to you and say, you know what, you were right. You know, I mean, if they see you as an enemy, they're just gonna like double down, you know, and just not bother. But I have found that people are more willing to come back and say, I was wrong, you're right, or can we talk about this again? So anyway, so I just think there are things that we can do to improve online conversations, and not just online conversations, but like also whatever conversations you're having on Zoom or in person. I feel like it's very important for us to develop some skills to and kind of resiliency, so that we don't get triggered and we don't avoid conversations and we don't lose friends, we don't lose family members. And anyway, so that's something that we can work on together. And you know, we can, again, like I said, we can do trainings about it. So anyway, so capmeintoWin.org is where you can sign up, and we'll send you announcements about the trainings that we're doing. Okay, so the volunteers that we're going to recruit, okay, you're going to learn election laws. You're going to learn how to spot disinformation and counter it. You're going to learn how to communicate with voters, communicate with people who don't necessarily agree with you. So just like developing strong communication skills around politics. And the other skill is to learn how to create social media content and really kind of step up your game online. So those are some skills that we can learn, but ultimately, like, you know, we have got to agree, we have to kind of commit to helping each other vote and asking each other, hey, do you need help, or can I give you information, or just nudge them, remind them, like, you know, there's a deadline coming up for mail-in ballots. Have you filled it out? Do you know where to go to get the application? Just like ask your friends to go through all of that with you and really help them through it. And we're going to need that kind of relationship and friendship going forward, because people may need to talk to you when they're feeling like so low and hopeless, because they're going to feel like they're cheating, or I can't believe I saw an act of violence at a polling station, or Trump is trying to con us again. He's trying to steal the election. It might get rough. It might get difficult. It's already rough right now. Okay, this is the roughest election I've experienced, and I'm sure that's true for most of us. And so it's probably going to get rougher, right? We don't know what's going to happen in October, as the October surprise, for instance. No idea what's going to happen. So we're going to need each other. So these friendships that we have developed, but new friendships that we can develop, like, it's going to help us get through this very difficult time in our country and probably in our personal lives. Okay, so we talk about friendships all the time, especially in the context of Facebook. You know, I call all sorts of people friends that I've never met before. But I think really a friend is somebody who will accompany you on your most difficult journey. Okay, so I am offering to accompany you, all of you, on this very difficult journey. I would like to make myself as available as possible. I will give you my contact information. You can contact me. I want to be there. I want to be there for you guys. And I would love it if you guys are there for me. Like, let's really be friends with each other and just kind of accompany each other on this journey that we're about to embark on, because we have no idea how difficult it's going to get. We have no idea what's going to happen. I don't care how smart people think that they are. This election is not predictable. So I would like to first like almost create a pact. Like, we're going to help each other vote. We're going to help each other feel like we have ways of defending ourselves against disinformation campaigns coming from God knows where. We're gonna be able to protect our democracy from people who are trying to sabotage it. Okay. And we're going to stand behind Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and the Democratic Party, because they are the only things standing in the way of complete takeover of fascism, authoritarianism, autocracy of America. So as imperfect as the Democratic Party is, and all the candidates, there are imperfections in all candidates and all human beings, but we are gonna have to lock arms with the Democrats and win this, just so that we can get through, okay, to a future that is gonna be, I'm sure, so much better if we can remove Trump. We've got to get there. And then we can argue about the Green New Deal or defund the police or whatever it is you want to argue about. But we've got to get to the point where those arguments even make sense. Like right now, you know, we were facing basically a criminal, like a crime family, basically, in charge of our country and our institutions. This is just not a way that we're going to get anything done, and none of the things that we want will get done with Trump in the way. Okay, so we've got to get to the point where these arguments can be had, and we have to lock arms with the Democrats, and we have to get behind Biden and Kamala Harris and our Democrats in order to do this. So so let's agree that we're going to have those fierce debates as soon as we have a successful inauguration of Democratic nominee and running mate Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I would love it. I would just be so ecstatic if we actually had majority in the House and the Senate, and this is all possible. Okay, so let's win majority in the House, let's win majority in the Senate, you know, let's win the White House, let's take over, and let's prepare for a truly progressive future in which we have much better social services and we really create more equality and more opportunity and a real social safety net. Okay, that won't let, you know, anyone die because they don't have health insurance. That would give everyone a chance to get an education, you know, that we really make sure that we don't have the kind of poverty that we have right now. There are just so many issues that are absolutely dire, but none of those things can work, okay, until we remove Trump, right? You know, I worry all the time about climate change, and I'm sure a lot of you do as well. So if Trump stays, I mean, I really do think it's going to be just irreversible destruction of the planet in a way that we've never ever seen or imagined. So I am asking you to join me as my friends, and let's make sure that we vote, our friends vote, our families vote, like everyone we know vote, especially the ones in battleground states. We're going to help protect our American democracy together. We're going to become guardians of our democracy together, right? And make sure Trump doesn't steal the election. And let's commit to really working hard, no matter what kind of administration Joe Biden turns out to be. We're going to work hard to organize as progressives and put pressure on him to do more, you know, for us to elect more progressives like AOC and Bernie Sanders and as with Warren. And I can make that commitment. You know, it's going to take a lifetime, but I can make that commitment. I would love for you guys to join me in making that commitment. Let's really work together. I'm going to put my contact information in the comments. Feel free to contact me. And please go to, you know, Count Me In to Win right now, the website, and sign up. And you're going to get notices about trainings. Okay. And we also have a Facebook page. But yeah, I would welcome any comments. I would, any questions, any feedback. I want to engage with you guys, and there are no bad, you know, questions or answers, you know, so please feel free to get in touch with me. Thank you for hearing me out. And I really hope that, you know, we're heading towards resounding victory, and we're able to create a kind of future that will really help all of us and make us feel really proud of our country again. And that is going to think forward, you know, generations ahead, instead of until the next election. You know, we have to work together to make sure that the future will be sustainable. So thank you all. Thank you, David. Thank you, Margie. Thank you, Christy. Thanks all my friends who have already joined me in this effort. And let's win. We've got to win. It's got to win. We're gonna win, but we have to do a lot of work. So, okay, well, have a good night. And yes, exactly. We're very excited that Kamala Harris is a Howard University graduate, and I think she's gonna be a really great running mate. I really do. I feel really good about this. Okay, I will talk to you guys again soon. Okay, stay healthy, eat well, and I will talk to you guys again soon. I'm probably gonna come on regularly, so you'll see me again.
You've been listening to Conversations About a Way Forward from Count Me In to Win and The Talk on Main Street. To learn more, find us on Facebook at The Talk on Main Street.